back on the Build Phase TV.
Why are we being so synchronized all the time now?
It's like we're working on it.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about Marvel Dice Throne again today. Specifically, we are going to talk about yet another character review.
Stephen Strange.
Today, it's going to be Doctor Strange. So before we look at this guy's thing, what predictions do you have? What do you want to see out of a Doctor Strange character?
I want him to have an ability called, Portal, or,
Okay, to, represent the sling rings from the movie?
I was going to say, or sling ring.
Okay.
And I want him to, I can't really describe. I want him to kind of be like the movies in a way, where he's not really good at fighting, and I want them to represent his doctor side with an ability that is healing things and
his
stuff.
Doctor side? What is it, Marvel Champions? Get out of here,
Doctor Strange. And I want to have that happen. Well, he has another side of his board representing, his cape, and he can just do damage. It also said he can cut off arms using his portals. I'm being so specific now.
Terrible.
I sound like an insane
I would like
person.
to see some kind of a spell mechanic.
Yes, agreed.
Like he has spells in Marvel Champions or in Versus, other games we play.
What are we talking about?
He has access to these extra powerful effects that other people don't get to cast, and that's how he represents being the Sorcerer Supreme. So something like that. Exactly how that's implemented, I don't know. What do we think about the combat dial?
Oh, I don't like that little ball. I'm just joking.
Yeah, the rivet, sure. I like the combat dial a lot. I think it looks cool.
Can we do flavor text first this time?
This is one of my favorite health dials.
I love that. I like that a lot.
This is one of the coolest ones we've looked at so far.
And now let's just look at the flavor text, because I've been wanting to do that on this guy.
Okay.
You're just another tiny momentary speck within an indifferent universe.
Cool. Thumbs down on the flavor text on that guy. So we've got two mandalas, and we can't see. So look at this. Look at how far that word goes.
Which means that.
Notice how that word doesn't go there.
So this is one of the least forgiving die faces.
So let's see what we can learn from his dice over here.
Oh.
So
Serena's. Oh, this is the least forgiving one, where the 3 and the 4 are different from the rest.
So what is his? Is it 1 and 2? Okay, so 1 and 2 are mandalas. That must mean 3 and 4 are cards.
Forbidden book.
5 is the cape, and 6 is that. So he's got 2 1-of dice face. He's a 2-2-1-1. Ooh, that's rough.
I would have said the 3 and the 4 are the forbidden book. You know?
Sure, whatever you want to call it. 3,
Where
4.
He learned how to reverse the faces of an apple.
Oh, look at this. Oh, he must have a spell mechanic.
Some EA. Oh.
So we don't know what purpose. So before we get too deep into the cards, let's go over here and look at spells.
Yeah.
Literally exactly what I wanted. Okay.
Here's the problem. We're gonna have to zoom in very, very far to read that tiny text.
Spells have prepare and cast effects. When you prepare a spell, place the spell on your passive ability. Book of Vashante.
Which looks like
Do not remove previously prepared spells, then perform the prepare effect. When you cast a spell, you may choose any card from the Book of Vashante and perform the cast effect. So, what's the Book of Vashante?
It's his passive. You passed it. It's
it's on his character board. Okay.
It's like all passives.
I misunderstood. All right, so when you get a spell... So, do we think these cards go in the deck? Oh, no. Look at that one. You see right there? I bet that says promo right there.
Yep, and we're gonna get it.
So I think I do. I do think these cards go in the deck, and when you get them, you prepare them by placing them here for presumably no cost.
Well, I think it might. Explain in the Book of Vashante. Let's read that first before we can continue.
Begin the game with the Flames of Faultine spell placed on the book, without activating its prepare effect. Once per turn during your main phase, you may prepare a spell from hand. So it doesn't cost, but you can only do it once. So you have one spell action per turn.
Well, I mean, let's read the rest now. Wait, and they have no costs.
And it looks like the cast is you can just So this cast effect says as 3 damage to attack, then discard this card.
And then prepare is a different thing.
Yeah. I think each cast effect will tell you when they can use it. Up here, it tells you prepare during your main phase, and then I bet the spells will be able to be cast during whatever different turn. Each one will do something different.
Okay, so now let's go back to,
Okay,
what do you call those
Crimson
again?
Bands.
Status effects, yes.
The Crimson Bands are a negative status effect. You can only have one. The opponent cannot play cards for 1 turn. A player
Ooh.
afflicted with this token cannot play cards during their next roll phase. Then at the conclusion of that roll phase, discard this token. So this short reminder text makes it sound like you can't play cards at all, but the full explanation means just during the roll phase. If you could shut off people's ability to play main phase actions, that would be bonkers.
Can I just tell you this much? You can't get rid of it, and you can't transfer it because they can't play any
can.
cards. No? Because you can't.
Yeah, you can. It's a regular negative status effect.
I know, but the thing is, you can't play any cards, meaning that it
during
trips
their
it
roll
up.
phase. So
Well,
if you have a what
cannot
status
play
effects,
okay.
if you have, and that's what I was saying is right here it makes it sound like you can't play any cards at all, but down here the explanation makes it clear that it's just the roll phase.
Well, it says it for 1 turn, and it.
Okay.
I'm
yes.
confused. Yeah, I want more ruling on this. I
Well,
want better
no,
ruling.
we don't need. This is how every Dice Throne pamphlet is. We have the first line, which is kind of a short explanation of what the card does, and then we have the full explanation text underneath it. And this is the full rule. This thing only affects the roll phase. It doesn't affect main phase.
I guess I was just a little bit confused. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree that the short text here makes it sound much, much, much stronger than it actually is once you read the full text.
I cannot wait to just lock you out because you love playing and drawing cards.
I do like playing cards.
Can't wait to lock you out.
All right, so let's look at Premonition. Stack limit 3. This is a positive status effect. So again, positive status effects go on us, not our opponent. Draw more cards during the income phase. That's the short explanation, but let's read the full explanation before we react. A player with this token may spend them once per turn during their income phase to activate one of the following effects. For 1 token, draw 2 cards instead of 1. For 3 tokens, draw 3 cards instead of 1. When activated, one of the drawn cards must be placed on either the top or bottom of the deck. Oh, so this doesn't actually let you draw more cards.
No.
If you spend 1 token, I draw 2 cards, and then one of them has to go either on the top or bottom. That's not drawing an extra card. That's scrying for a card. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So the draw 3 one will let you draw 3 cards. You'll get to keep 2 of them, and one has to go to the top or bottom. How often are you ever going to spend this as 1 token?
Never.
Well, not never.
I want it.
There's certainly going to be times where your back is against the wall and you need one specific card to bail yourself out of it. Like, for instance, there's times where Shadow Thief just absolutely has to have Into the Shadows or Enter Shadows, and if they don't have it, they lose. If they do have it, they stave off the attack and probably win. So in those types of situations, and I realize Doctor Strange isn't a Shadow Thief, but
Yeah.
but I don't know what his cards are, so I can't call them out by name, but probably searching for a specific spell will be one of those situations where drawing 1 extra card to have just a chance of getting a spell is probably worth it.
Yeah.
But overall, I like the idea of saving up for 3.
Okay, now Deja Vu, I have a feeling this is going to be like a Dormammu I've come to bargain where, like, you roll.
Well, it lets you restart your roll
offensive roll phase.
Not being able to read the rest of that, I'm not sure how good it's going to be, but I think it gives you...
I'm guessing on ability, you
get a second roll phase. So if you roll crap, you spend this token.
And then start a new offensive roll phase.
Yeah.
That's hard to read.
Okay, so let's move on to his stuff. So Augury, this is going to require him to get 2 of his two-face dice. And
wait, before we even say this, where's his basic attack?
Augury is what's going to count as his basic attack.
I don't like that. I mean, it's...
So he gains a Deja Vu and deals 8 damage. That feels pretty strong.
Yeah, but it takes 2
6s, 2 single face, and 2 double face.
But the thing is, I mean, I don't like the idea that I'm not able to just bail out on I have 3 of these whenever his...
But that's one of the tricky things about playing characters that have these kind of dice faces.
But he doesn't have a basic. That's just... I don't like that.
He's not the only character who has kind of weird basic attacks. Shadow Thief only gains CP with his basic.
I wouldn't call this a basic attack at all. This is just they got rid of his basic attack and added a new one.
Aside from the basic attack commentary, how do you feel about what this power actually does?
I like what it does, but yeah, I still don't like the idea that I can't just bail out to a basic.
Okay. Universal Awareness. You need 4 of the books, and you get to draw 1 card, gain a deja vu, and gain 2 premonitions. And you can prepare a spell from your discard pile. Now that is an important set of words right there. So my guess is this is all the spells that are going to be in the game. So by default, Doctor Strange is only going to have 3, and he's going to get a 4th one via a promo card.
Yeah.
Based on what I see here. Knowing that this is where promo cards say the word promo on them. So being able to recycle a card. Now that is... Each of those things only shows up on your dice twice, so that is kind of a heavily demanding dice roll, but that feels like a really good power.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
We already talked about the Book of Ashanti. I love the mechanic.
Me too.
Maybe the only criticism I have is maybe there aren't going to be enough spells in this deck. Like, I'm going to be disappointed that I don't get to use it enough.
Strange. Yeah.
So, Astral Incursion. This reminds me of Shank Attack on Shadow Thief because it's just a whole bunch of everything. It's all his die faces. This is going to be really hard to roll for. This is going to be the kind of thing that you do when you're trying for something like this and you miss because your dice layout is very unforgiving.
And also, just so everyone knows, Shank Attack is his favorite Shadow Thief ability.
It's not even close to my favorite Shadow Thief ability.
You once said that you love Shank Attack.
Cornucopia is by far my favorite Shadow Thief ability. How dare you?
Well, you do love your Shank Attacks. I do know that for a fact. And there's no way that you can
I think it's got a funny name, but let's keep it realistic here.
I remember you once said, I just love being able to be like, Shank Attack to everyone.
It is funny to say. Okay, let's talk about Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange has this Astral Incursion power that's kind of a grab bag, like Shank Attack, and it deals 6 damage. Then you get to roll 2 dice. So you can add some damage with this first result, but it's only on. You can't add 6 damage and have 12 attack coming from this because it doesn't stack. So you can either add 3 damage, gain a premonition, inflict a crimson bands, or cast a spell. And I wonder if this lets you cast a spell ignoring when the spell is supposed to be cast.
I hope so.
Like maybe there's a spell that you can only cast during the main phase, and this lets you cast one during a roll phase. Kind of like how Artificer has some things that let him activate bots during weird times.
Yeah, like activating the health bot when you're trying to attack somebody.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a really strong power, but you can't roll for it. I mean, I guess you can, but that doesn't feel good trying to roll for a grab bag like that.
Yeah, you aren't trying, really.
So we got doubled up straights. The small straight deals 6 damage, lets you cast a spell. 6 damage I'm not crazy about, but how good are the spells?
Yeah.
I don't know. Large straight deals 9 damage, casts a spell. Now, the large straight 9 damage I think is great. I think that's a fine amount of damage.
Yeah, let's go.
But again, how good are the spells? I don't know. You know, it's something I'm noticing here, though. Small damage, big damage, no damage on these 2. He doesn't have a lot of damage-producing effects on his board. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. He does have a decent number, but he also has a surprising number of things that don't deal any damage at all. So move to binding. These are 2 faces and these are 1 faces, right? So this is going to be just as hard to roll as Augury.
2, 2, 1.
And it inflicts a crimson bands but deals 9 damage. So a slightly worse status effect, but slightly more damage for a same probability event as Augury.
Feels
fair.
I like it.
Wand of Watum, so the mini ult, inflict a crimson bands, deal 5 undefendable damage, and prepare a spell from your discard pile. That's important words, I think. Then cast up to 2 spells. That feels really good.
When does the Wand of Watum come in? Is that just a comics thing? And I read the comics.
So I guess that's this wand here. So the undefendable damage is pretty small. Only 5 damage from mini ult isn't great, but I don't think you care. I think you're rolling this because you want to do the spells, and this is going to be a power that's going to either be good or be bad on the back of how good are the spells.
Yeah, or you're going for the ult and you just don't make it.
So it occurs to me that I think we skipped Black Panther's ult when we recorded that video.
We did.
Well, I guess we're going to talk about Doctor Strange's ult. All-Seeing Eye. So this is 6/6s, of course. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Prepare up to 2 spells from among these cards. I like that. Put the other cards back in any order, then deal 10 damage and cast up to 2 spells.
Can I just say what something that annoys me a slight bit here?
Okay.
Usually the ults allow you to get all your special stats effects. This doesn't allow it. Would mean that you can only get Deja Vu based on how I'm thinking from 2 rolls, unless the defense gives you it.
Possibly. But instead of status effects, this lets you
do good stuff.
This lets you get spells, and it lets you dig a little ways into your deck and then set up your deck in the order that you want to draw those cards.
Which is amazing.
Which is really strong. I think that's really good. The damage is maybe the weakest element of this, but again, how good are the spells?
I've seen ults where it's less damage, and yeah, I like this.
Defensive power, roll 2 dice. You can deal damage, gain a premonition, prevent 2 damage, or deal 3 damage depending upon what your outcome is. This doesn't feel like a very strong defensive power.
No. I don't like this.
I mean, you roll a 6, and normally rolling a 6 is the best part of your defensive power. You roll a 6 and you get 3 damage.
Can I just say, it's only on. Mean that you have to get one of everything to do anything. That sucks. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
So we see one spell here, and a spell that Foresight lets him gain Premonition, which we don't know what that's costed, so I don't know how good that is. It's really hard to evaluate this guy. I don't know what to think of him because I don't know how good the spells are. I don't know how quick we're actually going to cycle through him. His board layout is really weird. Like you pointed out, he doesn't have a basic attack.
Which I'm annoyed about.
He has a lot of things that don't do damage or do minimal damage, but kind of set him up for other turns. Is leaning into the spells going to create enough damage that it offsets the fact that I think this character might roll scratches more often than other characters because he has some really awkward demands.
I cannot wait for the statistics. I cannot pronounce it.
But that feels kind of cool.
Character.
Like
I like this. It feels like Doctor Strange. It doesn't feel like any other character. It feels like Doctor Strange, and they really put that into play rather than making him like other characters because.
Well, he's the Sorcerer Supreme, not the Sorcerer Middle of the Road.
Yeah.
So he's a high reward character where you roll some of these weird dice combinations.
That are hard to get.
You get big payoffs. You have this engine built into him where you get to play the spells through the Book of Ashanti, which, by the way, making the Book of Ashanti on the board and physically having the pages of the book there as spells, oh, what a flavor home run.
You know what I kind of wished? I kind of wish that you get this promo version for Kickstarter where you got this small book and that's where all the spells like a small book where you can store all your spells. Like
there was a hinge along the side of the board right here that you could put the pages into.
Yeah, I want
that would be cool.
Dice Throne, please.
I think this guy is going to be extremely demanding. I think he's going to be hard to play. It feels like he's going to be the kind of guy that you're going to have games where you walk away and go, I don't even know how this character works.
Agreed. But when you do roll his certain die, it's such big rewards. But how often are you going to get those rolls?
So is this the guy you're most excited to play?
No.
No, me neither.
Maybe fourth most excited.
I do like the look of the character, though.
My third.
I'm very excited about the spell mechanic more than anything else about this guy. And I certainly do want to check that out and see how it works. But again, not going to be the first character I pull out of the battle chest once he comes.
We both agree on what character. I told him.
Okay. Any final thoughts on this guy?
I like him, but he's just a little out of my playstyle.
I think once I get him, I might end up liking him more than I do right now.
Agreed.
Because I think this spell book thing is going to really fit with my playstyle. I think it's going to connect with the things I like to do. It's just, I'm not totally sure. Like if you only get to play 1 or 2 spells per game, I don't think it's enough.
I don't think you...
But if I'm pulling them out of my KO pile over and over again and recycling them and looking through my deck,
what his hand looks like.
That feels pretty good.
I mean, we do know what that hand looks like, but you know what I'm saying. We don't know what his deck looks like.
Yeah, we don't know what the rest of his kit is.
Maybe all of his cards are, like, amazing, allowing him to pull more of his spells out of his KO, or, like, search your deck for one spell and put it in the KO pile or stuff like that.
We don't know that there's only going to be 4 spells.
Zoom in on it.
There could be more.
I know for a fact there's more, because that says promo, and it's the art that looks like the one that we see, and the one that we see doesn't have a promo.
Oh, well, I don't know that necessarily knows it for a fact, but there could be more spells than that.
I cannot wait to play with
the more spells
my
God. And the more interaction with spells I get to do, the more excited I am for this guy, so we'll see how he plays.
I cannot wait, but he's not my most excited. He's my 4th most excited.
Any other thoughts on Doctor Strange?
I like him a lot. I also love the art on all of these abilities.
Well, yes, the art always looks
good. It's a home run.
Okay. Well, let's wrap this up.
Bye.
Go win some games.